Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. I'm Ella and in this video we are going to continue with this beautiful coffee shop. The last tutorial was all about the modeling of this scene and we created every detail, every part from scratch to this. Actually, I add some families and objects and I'm going to give a quick update about them. So first I added this curtain. I modeled it with a simple generic model and with sweep blend, and for all of these parts I used a start and radius. After that I created a void extrusion with a circle in this top, and then with a revolve I created this rod. Let's go to section box first. As you can see, I added these parts because I thought it's a little simple, and also I wanted to be matched with the frames in bar section. I also added these lightings in this part. If you can see, I created a void inside this part and then I turned it into another geometry and I added a lighting material. Nothing more in this part. I just changed these chairs and added some dishes and glasses here. If we look at this front view, you can see I added a nosing and the lighting to this part with a very simple extrusion, and also for this part around this lounge to interior side of this partition I added a very simple shape like this. I actually copied this part on itself and then I turned it into a material. So if you select this, you can see this frame panel and this lighting in here. We have also lights under this counter and also in this part under its top board, also under this frame in here and also under this part. I created some cabinets in these parts too, just to hide some space for like dishes and equipments. All of these objects and families make our place a little bit messy, so I don't want it to be more than this. These are also too much. This part is also new. I modeled this arc with, again, generic model, and this part is a text. If you go to this architecture tab, you can model any text that you want with this model text. These lightings are also new. I modeled them very quick in lighting fixture families. If you want to learn more about creating lighting families, you can watch this video in top right corner. You can also watch a full tutorial about all of these dishes and this lighting here. I'm going to add them in card, so if you are interested, go watch them. If you select them, you can scroll down in this part and add whatever you want. You can add a placement fabric like this, and also if you don't want these glasses, you can select another one. If you want, you can add a candle in this part, and also if you want, you can hide this all and turn it into a wine glass simply. Any other object or family that you can see is for Inkscape. So if you go to this tab and its asset library, you can select anything that you want. Also, you can go to beamobject.com in this part and search whatever family or object that you want, download them and use them in your project. Before we go back to Revit, let me show you this ambientcg.com where I download all of my textures from. So if you go to these all categories, in here you can see every different type of material that you need. So I download my textures from here. For example, the brick that I'm going to use is this one. The concrete that I'm going to use is this one, or you can use this one or this if you want. Now let's go back to Revit and start Inkscape. Okay, since this scene is going to be a isometric view like this and we didn't add any roof or ceiling for it, it's hard to work on it like this. First, we are going to change its view to this orthographic, and I also want to change it to night view, something like this. Right now we don't have any sun or lighting in this environment, but we see these parts in white and it's a little bit unrealistic. So if you want to fix it, you can go to your level, first level, and add a floor, a generic model or anything that you want under your floor, under this floor, and make it very large so it covers all of these parts. Cool. Now let's move on to material part. As I said, lighting plays a very important role when it comes to creating material. It affects on everything, its color, its bumps and displacements, and also on its reflection. So let's first control the lighting. For all of those lightings that I added to all of these frames under this part, under counter and to this partition, I created one material. So if you select them, you can go to its edit type and it's this frame light. For this part also we have the same one. Again, it's the same for this part and also for this part. So I'm going to go to this manage and material. If you select it, you can go to this browser, and in here if you scroll down a little bit, you will find these lightings. You can select either one of them. Now go to its appearance, and in here you can change its color if you want. You can change its emission and also its highlight from this part. For now, let's see how it will look like. It is too much. Go back there and let's decrease this luminance. I'm going to put it on 200. Okay, let's go with this one. In this scene, as you can see, it's a bit messy, so we need to be careful with our material. We should control the texture of it so we don't make it worse. I'm going to use only 2 texture for pattern, and even 2 is too much, so where we need to use that texture. Of course, I'm going to use one of them for this wall, for this brick wall here. Select the wall and go to its edit type. Go to this edit, and in this part you can change its material. Let me first change it to a generic material like this with no color and no anything. Now first thing we need to do is to add our image. Click on this part and select it. I'm going to use brick number 77, and for its color we need to use this color texture. In its setting, I'm going to change its size to 1:2. It's good, I think it's good, but I want it to be a little bit more, so I'm going to change it to 3:1.5. And I also want it to be a little bit darker. Check this bump and add the bump or displacement texture. It's this one, and in this setting, this texture editor, you need to give it the same size, 3:1.5, and increase its volume from this part. Cool. I'm going to check this reflectivity too to add a little bit reflect to it. Brick is a material that needs no reflection, and actually it has no reflection, but in real world we don't have such a thing. We don't have any material with no reflection. Even if it's very low, you need to check it. If you want it to be less than this, you need to decrease this glossiness, and you see its effect in here. I think it's good enough for now. Next material is going to be our wall in this part and also in this part. So you can go with plaster or concrete. I'm going to go with the second one. So select your wall and go to its edit type. Go to this edit, and this is our wall number 1. The brick was wall 2 and this is wall number 1, or which actually it has no number. So first I'm going to assign a default material for it, and then I'm going to select its texture. It's concrete number 24, and for its image, for the main texture, we need to select this color one. If it's too much, you can change it in Photoshop and then use it in here. You can also change this color to something white, something like this, and then decrease this number so they mix together and give you something lighter. In its setting, I'm going to change it to 2 for both of them, and let's apply and see how it looks first. I'm going to increase this number a little bit more to 5. I think it's better. We can see at least these textures here, and then I'm going to give this bump texture for it. We need to select this displacement, and in its setting we need to insert the same number for its size. Let's change its amount to 15. I also want to check this reflectivity and increase its glossiness so we have a little bit more reflect more than this brick. The next material that we are going to work on is its floor. I'm going to divide the floor to two different materials. For example, we can use one material for this part and another one for this part and also for here. Since they are both the same type, we need to select it and go to its edit type. In here, we are going to duplicate it and change its name if you want, and then go to its edit type, select its material, and let's simply create a new one. Change its name to, for example, floor A. I don't want this part to have that much texture and so much reflect. You can use marble or concrete simply for this part, but I'm going to again use concrete number 32. Select this one for its color. In its setting, I'm going to change its size to 4 and let's apply. If you look at it under the sun, it's something like this in this part and also in here, and I think it looks good. However, I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. So change this color to something like this and decrease this image fade. Okay, for this part and also this part, we're going to use the same material. So I'm going to click on this generic model, and in its edit type for this nosing, I'm going to select this floor A. Okay, now it's time for the other floor. Let's select it and go to its edit type. And first we are going to assign a texture for it. I want to add the second textures material for this floor. I think it will be cool if we make it very reflective, since we don't have that much reflect in this scene. It is this one. You can find it in Arrowway textures in concrete section. For now, I want to change its size to 4. And as I said, I want it to be very reflective. So I'm going to check this box and increase its glossiness. And also we need to check this bump and add its bump texture, which is this one. Increase its amount too, and let's apply. Oh, it's too much. Okay, 1.5 it is, and I also want to change its color to that darker one, this one. Okay, another thing that I want for this material is to be a little bit green. You have a lot of red color, red texture in this scene, and I want some balance in here. So I'm going to check this tint and add a very dark green color, something like this to it. And I'm going to increase its glossiness too. Now let's decrease this lighting and look at it from distance. If you see too much noises and it's not that much high quality, it's because the size of this render is in 2000 and it's a little bit low. So if you increase this number and also actually render it, it will be much better in final render. So don't worry if you are watching it like this. Perfect. Let's move on to the next material, which is this curtain in here. Select it and go to this edit type. In here, in this material, I'm going to go to this asset browser, and in this fabric section, if you scroll down, you will find this one or this. Select it and let's go to its setting. I don't want its color to be like this, so I'm going to change this to white, and I'm going to remove its image, but I'm going to use this cutout for its texture. If you want, you can check reflectivity and add that cutout to this bump too. Apply and okay. For the top part, let's create a new material which we are going to call simply metal 00 metal, just to have it above all of those materials. And let's go to this asset browser, and in this part, in metal section, you can select any kind of metal that you want. I want to go with this one, but I'm going to change its color to something a little bit lighter. Okay. The next important material which we have in here is all of these frames. I want this part and this part to be black, and in this part we can use another color. So let's start with this part. Select it, and in its edit type you can change its frame. Go to its material and create a new material for it. change its name to mainframe. I really love all of the metal materials in here, so I never felt like I need to create any metal material from scratch. I always use one of these. You can again use this one, or if you want it to be more reflective, you can use this chrome black. I want to use this, but I'm going to change its color to something darker like this. And also I want to change its roughness to have a little bit less reflects. And now I'm going to use it for these parts and also for this frame. This one also needs the same material too. Okay, the last thing in this part is this table and all of these chairs. If you select this chair, you can find these seat and frame material in here. I'm going to create a new one. Let's call it chair and go to its appearance. For its texture, I will use this wood texture. It's a very good high quality texture and it will look so good everywhere. Change its size to 1 by 1 for now. Check this reflectivity and also give it a bump texture. I think we need to rotate it. Go to image setting and with this option here, rotate it 90 degrees and do the same for bumps too. It's much better, but I think we need to use two different texture with different rotation for this object. So I'm going to go to this frame part, this second one, and in this part I'm going to duplicate this material and rotate its texture. Perfect. I think we are done in this part. Now it's time for this bar part. We changed these frames before. Now I'm going to change these cabinets. So if you select it and go to its edit type, you can see it in here. Click on this part and let's create a new material for it. Change its name to cabinet and go to this asset browser. I want it to have a little bit glossiness like a high glass cabinet, so I'm going to go to this metallic paint. One with light color and high reflects, probably something like this or this one. Let's select this one. Apply and OK. Okay, next part is this counter. I am going to use the same material, same as these cabinets for this part and also this part, because I think these parts need to be a little bit reflective. Select it and go to its edit type, and for this countertop, and for this foot kick, which is basically toe kick, I wrote it wrong, we are going to use the same cabinet. For these slots, I think it will be good if we use mirror. Select it and go to this edit type, and in this part we are going to create a new material which we can call mirror. Search mirror and let's use this one. Now let's move on to this private part. One thing that I want to change for sure in this part is the glass of this partition. So select it and go to this panel part. In here for this material, I'm going to go to this glass section. If you scroll down, you will find this glass. I want to change its color to something a little bit darker, something like this, but browns. And if you go to this bump part, you can select its texture and increase its size. Let's test this for now. Yes, I want it to be a little bit more, so I'm going to double it. For this sofa, I want to create a fabric material, so select it and go to its setting. In this part, select the sofa and give it a new generic material. For its texture, for its image, I'm going to use this texture. It's texture number 26 and you can download it from Ambient CG. I selected it before I decide about the glass behind it, and I don't think they match together that much good. So let's just first use this one, and after that we can rotate this one. Check this bump and select its bump texture, displacement texture actually. I want it to be a little bit more, something probably 15. And also I want its amount to be around 100, for example. Also, in these parts behind these partition in here, it's very dark. So you remember that I told I put this lighting in one side of this partition. So we can go to its family, and if we put it on wireframe, we can see it in this part. Copy it on itself and move it simply from this point to this part to the other side of this glass. Probably we need to change different light in different parts to separate lighting. For example, I think we need more lighting in this part, but if we increase this part, it will burn in these areas. And also we need more lightings in here, but not that much lighting in this part. So at the end, we might need to separate these lightings. For this part, for this text in here, I want to turn it into something glowing like those neon texts. So let's select it. You can change its material from here. Create a new one for it, and from this asset browser, scroll down a little bit and select one of these. In this part, I'm going to change its color to something warmer. Also, I'm going to change its filter color to the same one and apply. As always, it's too much. Controlling lights in these kinda scenes is very important, so I'm going to change it to 500. Okay, I think we talked about everything now. Final part is the render setting. So go to visual setting and let's go to atmosphere tab. In here, I'm going to increase this artificial light brightness a little bit more, and also this ambient brightness. Then go to output and increase this to 4000, 3000, as much as you can. Since this is a night render, it needs lots of quality, lots of resolution in here. So if you want to export the best image, you need to increase this part as much as possible. Then check this box if you want object ID, material ID, and these. If you want the alpha channel of this render, be checking this box, you will get nothing because we created that floor in this part. You will be able to select that floor in object ID since it's a element in here, but you will not have this alpha channel. If you want to have it before rendering, you need to hide or delete that floor, and after that check it. Choose a folder for your render from this part, and after that press Shift and F11 and then wait for your render. The final result is much better than I thought, and I think it's awesome. So yes, that's it. I hope this was useful for you and you enjoyed watching this tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye!